Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to do is to take a look at 10 watches that represent an introduction to sort of a soft step into high horology. What I tried to do, high horology prices go to the moon, and so all of these watches are under 10,000. Now I know that 8,000 isn't exactly chump change, so uh, this will give you an idea of some options you have, or at least some places that you might want to look in case you said, hey, I'd like to get into some high horology. So let's start. Now, the original high horology were centered around three watches, or three watchmakers: Patek Philippe, Vacheron, Constantin, and Audemars Piguet. So I thought they would be a good place to start. Now, what I'm starting with is Patek Philippe Calatrava, and I'm starting with the ones before 2009. This is when they all had their Geneva seal, and also they were a little more affordable. The Calatrava 3520J is the one that I would suggest you can, like I said, you can find them under $10,000, manual wind. Uh, if they have gator straps and are shipped from overseas, uh, you probably might want to take the gator straps off and ship them separately. At the bottom there, you can see the Patek Philippe, what they call the PP177, is based on the Frederic Piguet caliber FP21. So if you look at those two movements, you can see how closely related the Patek Philippe movement is. And so a lot of the older ones, they were not so-called in-house. That didn't seem to matter. A good movement was a good movement. And Frederic Piguet indeed is a good movement. Anyway, so that's the first one. Now the second one goes into a very different direction for high horology, and this is sort of what you might call high horology sports watches, or luxury sports watches. Now, the Vacheron Constantin overseas, I had one of these and I wore it all the time. They're 37 millimeters. They're priced under 7,000. Automatic wind. They have a metal bracelet. My metal bracelet kept popping open on this particular model. Didn't bother me a bit. I just pop it back and wear it. I love that watch. So it's again $7,000 isn't chump change either. So you know they're also available and other kinds of straps. Now this caliber, the caliber VC1311, is based on the Girard-Perregaux 3100. Again, you can look at the two and they're very similar. Apparently, there was a lot of work that Vacheron Constantin had to do on the 3100 because there were some problems that they had to fix up. One of the things about the overseas, to me, if you want to spend a lot of money, the ones that came in after 2016 had all of the in-house overseas, but still, like I said before with the Patek Philippe, some of the earlier ones, it was no big deal to take a good movement maker. This one, like I said, had the Girard-Perregaux 3100 in it. They fixed it up though. Okay, now the next one is the Audemars Piguet. Now, usually, this is another one whose popularity is based on the sports watch, which is called the Royal Oak. But there are other lines, and one of the best lines, I think, for collectors is the Audemars Piguet Jules Audemars. And this particular line of watches, you can, a gold case, again, which is very much part of high horology, even though a lot of really great high horology is something other than gold or platinum. The minimum size, this is, again, some of these older ones are very small. So look for something that is at least 36 millimeters. For a lot of people, that might be small, but a lot of people, that's the sweet spot. So again, these are under 7,000 manual wines. It's a gold case. And this has what's called an in-house movement, the AP 3090, the Audemars Piguet 39er, 3 hertz hand wound. It's a nice watch. Now, this next one is by Lange und Söhne. The Saxonia is really, I mean, all of them, all of their watches are very nice. Their movements are beautiful. This would be a very nice one to have. This one you can find under 10,000. Not a lot under 10,000, and not a lot up before that. This one is in, it's called the Saxonia Thin. The reference number is 211.026. Sometimes you have to look for that reference number because some of the Saxonia are significantly smaller. But this one was 40 millimeter in white gold, caliber L093.1. Hand wound, 3 hertz, 21,600 semi-oscillations per hour. This is a sweet watch. I mean, for a High Horology dress watch, it's a really nice one. Now, this next one here, I'm sort of in a sort of a bind, I guess. This watch is a wonderful watch. It really is. The H. Moser Cie Endeavour. This was called the Small Seconds Endeavour, or there was original name, awful name, I think, the Mayu. Now this one was originally, I think it was from 2006, when Moser was going through its first, what you might say, comeback. And they had some nice watches. This one, they had the Henry double hairspring, which I happen to have. I have the center seconds model of this particular Endeavour. They are fabulous watches. Now the newer ones, you can find some. I tried on one of the new ones, one of the new Pioneers that H. Moser has. Take a look at some of those on the pre-owned market. You might be able to find something that's good, because the new ones are great also. Also, the new ones are more likely to have an automatic movement if you like that. I like hand wound movements, but that's me. Other people tend not to, would rather have an automatic movement. But H. Moser, the Mayu is, and then the center seconds Endeavour, before the new ones, are nice catches if you can find them. Some of the newer ones, though, are definitely worth a look. Now, the next brand is Chopard. This one, here you have a lot of really great advantages. Now, this one's called the Classic. In general, if somebody asks me about Chopard, I'll say, be sure to get one with the LUC. But this is an exception. This one has a Frederic Piguet movement, the 1160, and it's based on a Frederic Piguet 1150. And the reason I say that, Frederic Piguet movement, that was the one we also saw that was in the Patek Philippe. And so you can save a whole lot of money with essentially the same movement maker in a Chopard Classic in gold, in solid gold, for starting around $3,000. You got to look, but you can find it. And this would definitely be a nice entry into High Horology. This one's got 3 hertz, 21,600 semi-oscillations per hour, automatic central rotor, 2 barrels in series. This is a watch I think you might really like. I'm not sure what all the different colors. I chose white because for me, it's a little easier to see black on white rather than white on black. Now, this next one is a brand that I've got 4 Parmigiani Fleuriers. These watches are really top quality watches that never got the love that they deserved. And the Parmigiani Tonda 1950, what a great watch, if you can find them. The prices start around $6,000. This particular one's in white gold. The PF 702, the Parmigiani 702. This was the way Parmigiani is set up. It's owned by this family, I guess. It's the Sandoz Family Foundation, and they're organized vertically. So they have the Parmigiani watches, they have Vacheron movements, they have Autoculpa, hairsprings. You know, they have all of these different companies they own, in addition to the Parmigiani. So the Parmigiani movement, the base movement, Parmigiani 701, the 702 is simply the automatic version, I believe. And notice too that they have one of the little small micro rotors in it instead of the big ones. Okay, the next watch is by Bvlgari. Now this is where you can find some really good buys. Now this one's in steel. You can find them as under 3,000. Not a lot, but right around 3,000 now. The Bvlgari Octo Roma. Love this watch. It's got a hint of the Gerald Genta shape. The Octo on the inside is very much of a Gerald Genta kind of design. Genta worked with Bvlgari for a while. The movement, the BVL 199 is made by Bvlgari. They have some watchmaking facilities. Bvlgari is owned by LVMH, and LVMH has their La Fabrique du Temps, which is a movement making. I don't know if they're involved in making this or not, but to me this is for a dress watch, for a high horology watch. This is one of the better deals. This particular one has the blue Clou de Paris dial, also is sometimes called hobnailed, stainless steel. This is a nice watch, and a very affordable watch too. Now, here, this is another one I think that when people think of, when you think of Bvlgari, you think of more of a fashion brand, and you think of Louis Vuitton, you definitely think of a fashion brand, but Louis Vuitton also owns Zenith, so, I mean, and Hublot, so they're not really a fashion brand without a strong watchmaking sense to them. Same with Hermès. Hermès owns 25% of Vacheron. So when you look at the movement is called the H1950. The base is the Vacheron VMF 5401. They own part of that watchmaking company, so they can get pretty much what they want. The size of this is 39.5 millimeters. The MSRP on it is 8,025, but I found them used under 3,000 or for around 3,000. It's automatic. By the way, if you're looking for these, you see when really a low price, look again because it may be quartz. They also have a quartz version of this. This one has a titanium case, extra thin. The this is, they have their own font, with very unique. This is a neat watch. I mean, and it does have not only a high horology, but it's simply sort of high fashion. It's a neat watch, I think, or a neat set of watches called the Slim d'Hermès. Now the final one is another one I really like a lot. It's a Piaget Polo Date. Uh, it's a bigger watch. It's 42 millimeters. Now this is something. The MSRP is 13,400. I found one at a place called Wrist Check, unworn, which means new. To me, it means new. Um, $7,000 unworn. Now you can find them uh, for lower uh, than 13,400, but the pre-owned ones are about 7,000. So why wouldn't, to me, the secondary market has a lot of what I'll call overflow watches. They made too many, didn't sell them, they got to do something with them. So the secondary market picks it up, and that's where you can get some really good buys. This one, the movement is a Piaget 111 0P. The base is a Cartier 1904 PSMC. That is the base for other ones. Piaget is part of the Richemont group, and they have something called Fleurier, which is their sort of a movement maker for all of the watches that are in the Richemont group. Not sure whether the 111 0P was made by them or it was made by Piaget, because Piaget has manufactured their own movements. Anyhow, okay, well, so there is sort of an introduction, I'll say, to high horology, and it's more expensive than some of the other ones you may be used to, but these are, believe me, the ones that I'm talking about here are very much entry level. And it's a lot of fun. I have one on. This is some other brands. This is a Langenheim. Maurice Grossman. I couldn't find any of those that were under 10,000. So there are other brands. I mean, there are a whole lot of other brands. They're the independents like F.P. Journe and Laurent Fleurier and Kari Voutilainen, and a whole slew of other great watchmakers. But for high horology, these seem to be the more affordable for stepping into it. Let me know what you think. If you have one of these, I'd really like to hear from you. And this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Cie, the art and science of watch collection.